Other interesting business news, Zyn is growing so much, they're actually opening up a new plant, this time in Colorado. Now, for many people not familiar, if you've never watched a comedian podcast, they will never shut the heck up about Zyn, which is a tobacco product. It comes in a little fancy circular tin, and it comes in little packets. You eat it, and it's nicotine. And I'm pretty but what they say they're not sponsored, but every stand-up comic in the past year, they worship that product as if it is made of gold or some other precious metal. Now, spoiler alert, they're actually owned by a bigger company, which is actually owned by, well, a company of a company. So they're owned by Philip Morris, which is one of the most successful tobacco companies since the dawn of time. Now, of course, they've also been rebranded to a bigger parent company called Altria. So if you want to try to learn more about the company in terms of the publicly available in terms of stock history, you look for Altria Group. And they own even more tobacco companies as you have more consolidation of the brands throughout the years, in part just because this business consolidation, but also increased regulation and scrutiny. Now, this is brought to us thanks to Reuters, and they say, quote, Philip Morris to expand Zyn production in U.S. with new plant in Colorado. Which they could actually see one of their nice little plants right there. Well, maybe not too nice. I don't know who designed that building. Granted, it's a manufacturing site, but oddly they're reminiscent of just playing with Legos in terms of being a giant box. But nevertheless, I'm sure some architect cried on the inside when he was being paid to design that abomination. But nevertheless, they say that, quote, Philip Morris International said it would invest $600 million into a new manufacturing facility in Colorado to produce Zyn nicotine pouches to help meet demand for alternatives to traditional tobacco products in the U.S. They say that the plant is expected to begin preliminary operations by 2025 and create 500 jobs in the state. The world's biggest tobacco company, by market value, said adding it would invest the amount over the next 2 years through one of its U.S. affiliates. Philip Morris entered the U.S. market after it bought Zyn parent Swedish Match in a $16 billion deal in 2022 as part of its efforts to provide alternatives to traditional cigarettes amid greater health awareness and stricter regulation, which, again, that's another unknown variable that people keep speculating. What is the long-term health benefits, or more accurately and more likely, health detriments of long-term uses of these alternative tobacco products? There are people saying, oh yes, vaping is so much healthier. Is it? Yeah, I don't know how much I buy that. Same thing for this type of little tobacco, or this little nicotine packets. Again, these stand-up comments, which they have, I mean, there's a lot of speculation on Philip Morris paying a third party, them paying the comics, but they're the most, trying to think of how to keep this family friendly. Cover your ears if you have children listening, but they are basically whores for Zyn. They love it so much, and they always kept saying, oh god, that gopher of a comedian, Bert Kreischer. Kidding, that's part of the joke of him, is no one knows his name. But nevertheless, he actually told someone, I don't know how he wasn't sued, or he told someone to try it out, it's not addictive. Which is the dumbest thing Bert has ever said, which is saying something because he's mostly mentally vacuous, though highly entertaining for 12 to 13 people. Kidding, I know he sells out stadiums, but still, he told someone, try this product, it's not addictive. Literally nicotine, it absolutely is, that's why there's a big label on it. But nevertheless, they also note that the company has benefited from strong demand for Zyn, which it says does not contain tobacco in the United States, with shipments rising nearly 80% in the first quarter over a year earlier. Begs the question, why is this stock not rising like Nvidia stock? One would think it would, but nevertheless, they say that. But in June, Philip Morris suspended the nationwide sales of Zyn following a subpoena from the District of Columbia, which requested information about the compliance about the state's 2022 ban on the sale of flavored tobacco. Womp womp. Maybe that's why the stock isn't going too well. Yet more government interference. The government also wants to ban menthol flavored cigarettes, which is ridiculous. Granted, I've never had one, but yeah. Why don't they just let people buy what they want? They already come with a warning label, but partially digress. They say that, but the plan faced pushback from anti-tobacco and health groups, which have written to the U.S. Food and Drugs Administration to oppose IQOS-related applications the company has submitted to the agency, according to Reuters. That is the big uncertainty when, well, every business is being bullied by the U.S. government these days. It's not unique just to tobacco. I mean, just try making a car in the U.S. You'll see there's more rules, regulations, and more nanny state than a freaking dictionary in terms of length of all the rules you have to comply with. But yeah, there's unprecedented demand for the product. Again, I don't know if there's any specific health studies on the specific usage of Zyn, because again, it has nicotine in it. But I know a lot of people love those things, and there's even more and more demand. Maybe it's just a temporary thing, because again, Juul, they were famously sued and they were blacklisted. They actually shelved. They couldn't sell for a certain period of time when the government was getting involved, and only later did they win that case. So you might have a very similar instance with this new, I was going to say newish tobacco-related product, even though it doesn't have tobacco in it. I'm guessing it's a derivative of it, where you just extract the nicotine. And again, I've never tried the damn thing. I'm just kind of extrapolating or kind of trying to read between the lines for the situation. But they are growing exponentially in popularity. And again, not financial advice, not saying you should or should not invest based on this information we covered today. But it is fascinating to see one of those big business and culture things just exploding. It reminds me of one of my favorite books called Freakonomics, where all of a sudden just a product it'll be around for a while, and then just bam, just explodes in popularity. So let me know, do you know anyone who actually has consumed Zyn in the past couple of years? Do they like it? And if they do, why? You know, some people like the fact that it comes in a little packet. Like, I mean, you also have that with certain chewing tobacco, I believe, as well. But let me know in the comments. As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, giving me a thumbs up or a thumbs down or comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I could make the show better and better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.